Today's Cosplay Con Talk episode is sponsored by Moco Queen Color Contacts. Don't forget to use my code Wayne for 10% off at checkout at mocoqueen.com. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Known here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I am joined here by, what state are you from again?
One Piece. This is a
No, no, no,
cost
no, oh,
test, so
no,
it's
no.
not gonna.
What state?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Um, my name's Lee, also known as Dweeb Cos,
And what state are you from again?
Illinois.
I'm
So,
I'm I'm joined here by Illinois-based cosplayer Dweeb Cos.
uh,
Nothing's ever scripted on this channel, so I I just go with the flow of things. But again, Lee, thank you for coming on to Cosplay Con Talk.
yeah, no, I've been watching your stuff for a little bit, and I was really excited about it. So,
Well, again, thank you for coming on. So to begin, as always, how long have you been cosplaying for, and what got you into cosplay?
I have been cosplaying for about 4 or 5 years now. I got more like I started getting into it like watching cosplay content in like 2019. So I was watching people like Diet Shampoo, on Musically at the time was Low Cash Cosplays. Uh
Real quick, I gotta get something to drink.
Oh, boss.
For as I always say, energy drinks aren't a source of food when it comes to going to a convention.
right. No, like I thrive off Pepsi. Like ironically enough, as somebody who cosplays somebody who just strictly drinks Coke, I'm more of a Pepsi person.
That is fair. So,
Like
so you said you've been cosplaying for 4 years. So since you were
so since I
17?
was 17, 18, yeah. I went to my first convention when I was 17. Sorry if the mic kind of
Nice.
drops.
Oh
I'm
no,
just
you're completely fine.
okay.
So you've been cosplaying since you were around roughly 17, 18.
Yes.
Um, what got you into cosplay?
I just honestly, I was the weird kid in school watching like Soul Eater. Um, I was really into Soul Eater and I are on High School Host Club at the time, and I was on Musically
Good,
at the time.
good for
I'm so sorry.
good for starting animes, honestly.
Oh, I love Soul Eater. Like, I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram, but me, my boyfriend, and my friend did the Thompson sisters and Death the Kid.
Oh,
And my friend edited the
Liz and
picture.
Patty?
Yeah, we did. She's Liz. I mean, Patty's one of my favorites. Already mixing the twins. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm just
good.
gonna. I'm gonna be in a weird angle here. So
Oh no,
my bad.
you're completely fine. Like I said, this show was not scripted. I have
This wig's leaving. You know?
I have a book that's supposed to be for scripts and ideas, but it's just collecting dust at this point.
Yeah, no, we are gonna not wig this one out, unfortunately. But I promise you, I will have a picture of Miss Doublefinger better.
No, no, you're completely fine.
Sorry.
So
That was the whole thing. I was like a little bit like, because like I wanted to get into cosplay and everything, but it was like, shit.
it,
But
it 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 happens. Not everyone is getting to cosplay on this channel.
yeah,
So, you know, fast forward. You've been doing this for 4 years. Your first was in 2017. You got into it because, you liked
I
you
really
liked good
liked
you liked good slice of life animes like Soul Eater and Aura
Soul
in high
Eater,
school.
Aura in high school. Yeah, those were that was my shit back in middle school. Like we were the little weird kids running around, and like we used to like, you know how little kids used to role play and stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
we were one of those little kids like running around doing that. Weird at the time, yeah, but it's a fun little memory to look back on because I didn't really have the best childhood, so it was like it's a good like thing to kind of look back on some good moments in my life, you know. But
Nice.
yeah, I saw like cosplay on Musically, and like I would watch like people like Diet Shampoo, and I'm like, whoa, like going to conventions and stuff, like I would love to do that. Like that's obviously little me is not going to have money for it, but it's like that's some of the stuff I'd love to do, you know? So it was always an intrigue, like I was always interested in it. So it just didn't fully develop until about 2021 when I first got my first cosplay and went to my first convention. So
Nice. So, fast forward, you got your first cosplay, you got your first convention. What was your first convention experience? Actually,
my
I think I haven't asked this question in a long time. What was your first convention experience like?
my first call me an imposter. I've never been to an Illinois convention up until it's gonna be in March because I have my first guesting thing going. So
Oh, well, congrats on that.
yeah. So my first like Illinois convention is going to be in March, but I've always been out of state for these cons. So my first convention was Indiana Comic Con. And I first we went on Saturday and Sunday because we didn't do the whole weekend. Saturday I dressed up as Sans, but I didn't want to wear my wig, so nobody knew who I was.
Oh, from
So
Undertale?
yes, Undertale.
Okay,
I
I'm
hope to
familiar.
revamp them eventually.
I'm familiar with Undertale.
Sans is one of my favorite characters. I hope to revamp him someday because like I didn't do him justice. I don't even have pictures of him. Like the most of pictures I have is like of my friend's sister got a picture of me and I was just sitting in front of the mirror and it's unfinished skeleton makeup, so it looks terrifying.
Is Sans the short one or is that Papyrus?
He's the short one. Papyrus is the tall one.
With the cape and everything. Okay. Oh
Yes.
yeah, Sans is with the hoodie and the shorts and
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah. And like doing Sans, I got into him because like I said, I watched people like Diet Shampoo and then on Musically there was this Musically person called Low Cash Cosplays
I think I've
and
heard of them.
they did a really like their Sans makeup at the time was like the stuff that everybody wanted to do. So it was like I was like, whoa, like this is crazy, you know? Um but but yeah, back to the main question. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get off track. So
You're
I
fine.
put myself back on track.
You were completely fine.
But my first convention experience was Indiana Comic Con, and I had a blast for those 2 days. Like it was fun. We bumped into one weird person, but then again, that was our first con, and we didn't really understand some of the stuff. So we were just kind of like, "Oh, this is fun. Oh, that happened. That sucks. Let's go back to the vendors hall." Like it was a very on and off like woo like roller coaster of emotions. But it was a really fun first con, definitely of like one of my first con memories
Is
was
this
yes, that convention. That was my
okay?
first convention. I went to the one in 2021 and one of my it's a funny memory. Some people find it like weird, but it's I think it's really funny. But I remember me and my group of friends that I went with, we were heading to the vendors hall because from what I thought, the vendors hall lasted past 7 p.m. But I guess around at least around Indiana or the cons I've been to, they don't go past 7 p.m. in the vendors hall. So I don't know if that's just Indiana or if there's a bunch of different cons that stop the vendors hall in
I
at
could
7 p.m.
not tell you. I know some
Yeah, I know.
some go to like 7, 8 o'clock,
Right.
depending on the con itself and the building it's being held at.
Yeah. But we were heading to the vendors hall because I thought it lasted a little bit past 7 p.m. And we're about to hit the escalator, and there's this group of drunk people running up the down escalator. So they're like trying to race each other. So like how the escalator was there's an escalator, a set of staircase, and another escalator, which would be the down escalator. So these drunk people are running up the down escalator, racing each other on the stairs, and then they get to the last person, and the security guard's running up next to this guy. So this whole group that's like right next to us, they're like, go, go, go. And then the guy gets back up, and then the security guard gets up there, and like they're still like, yeah, oh, we weren't supposed to do that, were we? And the security guard was like, no, no, you weren't. So as my friends and I were going down the escalator, this security guard is leading these drunk people back down the stairs. And they looked like a group of little kindergartners just going back down the stairs. It was kind of funny. That was at least my first run in with like people like drinking at conventions and stuff. Like there's usually like a lot of the after hours stuff. But
Sorry, I'm looking at the guest for this year for Indiana Comic Con, and it looks like a well stacked cast of guests this
hmm
year, from Power Rangers, One Piece. to Five Nights at
Stephanie
Freddy's.
Young is going to be there, and I'm trying to hopefully go one day to see her again because I met her at Indie PopCon.
Jeez.
She's so nice. I love her.
Brandon Rogers is going to be there for anyone who's a fan of
Oh
Has
yeah,
Been. Damn. Sorry, I'm
I've
just
known
looking
him
this
since
up.
Instagram.
Like I've no, I love cons. I love someone who does this for technically a living. Um,
A lot of the times when I've like starting off before like I started putting applications in to do cons like as a guest, like I the only reason I like going to cons is to dress up, hang with my friends, and then maybe hit in the vendor's hall for like that, like a bunch of buttons. I have a button obsession. It's not even funny. Like I love my buttons.
there's something wrong with. I have a backpack literally that has pins and buttons on it that I call the bag of holding. Um,
I'm starting a Frankie bag where it's just a bunch of Frankie from One Piece pins and other fun stuff. Because he's one of my
nice,
favorites. He's one of my favorites to cosplay. But yeah, that's
nice.
like one of my first cons I've went to, and that started me going to more cons.
Nice. So to start off, I have these in categories. We talk about convention related stuff, cosplay related stuff, and then last but not least, we get into the cosplay, like talking about your cosplays and everything.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So when it comes to someone going to their first con, think, oh, no, 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 no. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Computer
Yeah, this is
is
gonna be a night.
Computers being these, like I said, none of these are ever scripted. So, as I was saying, when it comes to going to your first con, what kind of advice would you want to give to someone who wants to go to their first con, whether it's a con in their hometown or out of state? So yeah, what advice would you like to give for someone who wants to go to their first
My
con? Yeah, sorry, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was thinking. My one piece of advice is don't stress. Like it's your first convention. Wear what you want to. Don't worry about anybody else. A lot of the times the con space is really accepting, at least since I started in the con scene. I mean, I guess I started in Indiana, so I don't know how different each state is. However, like at least with my experience, everybody is so accepting, whether you're wearing a closet cosplay or you had just made your first cosplay or you like had somebody like commission like really cool armor set. It's like don't stress about it. Like go what you want to because every once you get there, everybody's just it's fun time. It really is. Or at least in my experience, it's been a fun time. Like I that first con I was talking about, I did like this closet hisoka because I wasn't a Hunter x Hunter for a hot minute. I still like Hunter x Hunter, but I can't get myself to go past the Chimera A arc. But the amount of people that came up to me was like, "Oh, like you look so cool." And like when I was walking through the convention hall, I'm like, "Man, I don't look like everybody else." But it's like after like those instances, it's like I'm just here to have fun. I'm here to dress up and be silly and check out everything. Like that's at least my favorite part of going to cons. Like
Nice.
meeting new people, wearing at least like the cosplay that you want to and like just having a fun time, honestly. So my piece of advice is to not stress out. But yeah.
Nice. So I actually looked up the Indiana Convention Center. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a pretty decent sized convention. So
It's a
you flat out basically said, I like to categorize conventions from small, medium to large. So small ones, are hotels like little rec centers.
right.
Medium, you got your medium sized ones, which I compare to Disneyland. Then you got your big ones that I compared to Disney World. You basically went to a Disneyland type convention, if you're not mistaken. This is the Indiana
That is
convention.
the convention center. The thing about that though, the catch about that is like they don't use the whole convention center. They only
That
use parts of the convention center.
that
So
checks out.
it's not like I mean you look at the convention center and you would think, man, there's like everything like you would think that's a huge convention. There's a lot of space in there and there's a lot of stuff in there, but they only use parts of it for cons and stuff. Like I know Indie PopCon is like you would think it's a bigger con, but it's smaller compared to Indiana Comic Con. So it's I would like I'm comparing this to Galaxy over in Columbus because I recently went there last December. Indiana Comic Con is nothing compared to Galaxy. Galaxy is huge.
I've
I
heard
don't
of
know if
Gal.
you've ever been to
I've
the
I've
Columbus Greater Center.
I've never been that over that way, but I've
Yeah.
seen I get like a lot of notifications on TikTok about the Galaxy Con because it's so huge, it's so well known.
Yeah, it's and there's so much stuff to do there. Like it's Galaxy is definitely one of my new favorite cons, but like I said, Indiana I would consider like Indiana Comic Con like a medium size, not even like a big like not even like Disneyland, like something smaller, like um nothing too smaller, but something between like Six Flags and Disneyland.
I was about to say like Six Flags Knott's Berry Farm type deal.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of stuff to do, and it's still a pretty decent sized con. It's not as big as you think, though.
I mean,
Like
I'm just
in
thinking,
size wise.
I'm just looking at the type of guests that convention gets, and like, what you think? I imagine that place gets packed. Sorry,
There
Windows.
was one year they got Chris Sabat for Indiana Comic Con 2022.
Oh,
There was a lot of people.
from Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with. I'm
Vegeta.
familiar.
He's also Zoro in One Piece.
And Piccolo, and also he's also All Might in.
Oh yeah,
No, anytime a con gets him, from my experience, depending on a certain guest, the line is gonna be packed.
I am so sorry. My sisters. I apologize. My sisters.
No, I could pause it if need be. I'll just say that. So we were comparing, like, again, like you said, Indiana Comic Con is more of a smaller base convent, not really small, but it's medium-ish
Yeah.
compared to
Mhm.
Galaxy in and you said it was in in Ohio.
Well, Galaxy has a bunch of different like conventions around the United States, but the one I went to in Columbus, Ohio, I would say it's pretty big and a little bit bigger compared to Indiana Comic Con. Their convention centers may be about the same size. Maybe Columbus is a little bit bigger, but when it comes to
Oh,
Indiana Comic Con, at least the few years I've been there, they've always used only portions of the convention center. They never use the whole like
the
thing.
Greater Columbus Convention Center. I'm looking it
Mhm.
up right now.
Like I
December
said, I could
5th.
be wrong. It's just from like just being seeing it and everything. I don't know.
No, no, you're yeah. Greater Columbus Convention Center. I'm curious. I'm curious now. Oh wait, let me get a better.
I really am an imposter. I like I said, I've never been to an Illinois convention, at least in my time of cosplaying until March. Or this coming
So,
March practically.
I mean, this is Wikipedia's. I mean, oh here, let me pull this one up. Um,
There's also just oh yeah. Oh, that's not a good picture. But
that's like the up. Oh, there's a sky bridge. Yeah, this is. Yeah.
there we go. Yeah. So that's part of it. Yeah. It's there's a lot of good photo shoot places inside and everything.
Oh, I imagine that sky bridge is one of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's also like this area where it's kind of like it looks like a stage setting, kind of like in those colleges where it's like bleachers, but they're not really bleachers. Like they're built in and they're kind of like stairs. They have an area like that where everybody practically hangs and there's like some really cool like windows and stuff that you can get pictures by. It's really cool.
Nice. So now this kind of brings me to this question. Advice for someone who wants to go to a bigger convention for the first time since you went to an out of state in a somewhat big convention.
Yeah. My advice on bigger conventions, especially if you're going straight from like something to the
Oh,
like
give me a
something
minute.
to the
Oh, wrong one.
all the technology's going out on you.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. This is not my best day. Oh, come
Me neither. I
on.
don't blame you.
Oh, er, I swear to God, I'm gonna check this computer out one of these days. All right, let's get. Uh, ah, I'm sorry, everyone. This is gonna take a minute.
Um,
Oh, come on. Come on. Could take a lot of editing. I don't like that. Come on. Why are you? No, no, what?
Oh,
No. Ah. Yes, yes, I'm aware. Thank you, because everything is popping all up at once. I am so sorry.
no, you're all good. Like, I mean, this isn't my best night either, but you're all good.
Any day now. Any day now. This is gonna take a lot of editing. Alright, okay. Sorry, my computer. I apologize, everyone. My computer just decided to update everything all at once. Once I get a new laptop, I'm taking this out, and I'm gonna go all Negan on it with a baseball bat. Anyway, as we were saying, advice for someone who's wanting to travel to a bigger convention for their first time because they don't want to. I don't want to go to a small one. I don't want to go to this one. I want to go to a big one.
Right. So, especially like I didn't start in a smaller con. I started with Indiana Comic Con, which it's pretty decent size. My advice would be to like really know, like at least know like the area of where you're getting into with the convention, like where the convention center is located at. Um, like know what you're gonna do beforehand. Because like my first time, we definitely wandered around, definitely, but like getting lost is not fun, especially when it's a convention center you don't know you've ever been in. Um, so like looking at maps, looking at like know like kind of like your itinerary, I guess. Maybe that's just me because I've gotten more into the planning side of knowing what I'm doing each day and everything. But definitely knowing what you're doing and where you're going is going to be a definite big help for sure. Um, also don't be talking to strangers. Well, I mean, talk to strangers. That's I mean, that's what we do at cons, but like be safe. Like actually like be safe with because there's sometimes like situations that happen. I've never ran into any situations, but there's still that like small percent chance of stuff happening. So like always like kind of know your surroundings and know where you're going and stuff.
Basically, do your research when you're if you're going to travel
Oh yeah.
do your even if it's this con in your like home state. Always do your research because you may
The
have never been.
research.
And I'm sure
Oh
you're a
yeah.
big advocate that do your research, whether it's, you know, for hotel,
That was
flight.
beating in my head for a good minute. Like even if it's like even take out the cosplay aspect of things when looking into things, I've always been told to do my research before I jump right into something, you know? So
No,
it's like,
that's good sound advice.
yeah, it is. It's it's something good to go by for sure. Um, yeah. Do
And
your
I'm
research,
sure,
everybody.
and I'm also sure do not only that, like I said, the hotel, the flight, you know,
Yeah,
what's the weather going to be like? Then you have to factor out, okay, well, maybe I should bring this cosplay instead of that
right,
cosplay. Should I travel to this if the weather's really bad? Because
right.
I imagine it snows over there too.
Oh yeah, snow's pretty bad. Like I'm and especially do your research on the weather and stuff because I had friends go to KatsuCon, which is in the DC area.
I've
And
heard about what happened about Katsucon this
mhm.
year with the pipes bursting and everything.
Oh no, I heard about those too. That's terrible.
Someone on TikTok clarified it, saying it wasn't sewage water, it was just kitchen water that a pipe had
But it's
bursted.
still that's
It's not
still
fun.
like no. Especially like if you're like I can only imagine the people that were walking around in big builds too. Like depending on the material, like that's not. There was a big snowstorm, like I think the last day over in the DC area, either the day, like the last day or the day after. So a lot of like my mutuals do road trips. I'm a road trip person, so you will not like you'll only catch me going on a flight unless with absolute necessity. Like if I can see, it's not past 12 hours. I can make that drive. I'm a terrible example when it comes to that. But like back to what I was saying, like there was like a big snowstorm going through and everything. So it was like a lot of people were like really cautious on the roads and everything. coming back from Katsu back towards this way.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, again,
Hmm.
do your research, be safe, fly, drive, whether you take a train, a plane, or you're driving, just be safe. And also, I'm sure you can agree with this. If the weather's really that bad when you're traveling, maybe it's best you probably don't go to the con. It is not worth getting into an
Yeah,
accident.
no, it really isn't. Like, accidents in general are absolutely terrible. Like the other day, I about crashed my van because my brakes came out. Yeah, another tip of advice, if you're traveling in your car, make sure your car's up to par before you go to cons
Oh
or
yeah,
something. You
no,
don't want to
I
be, yeah,
that's some good sound advice. Make sure your car is trip ready because you don't want to
exactly.
you don't want to be 4 hours in or something, and next thing you know, for 3 4 hours in your drive or whatever
Right.
heading to, and then next thing you know, your car breaks down and you have nowhere to go because you spent all your money on everything else. Which
Yeah, no, but yeah.
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like yeah, because like luckily it wasn't a convention. I was just driving to the family house because I live 30 minutes from my family and everything, and like my brakes gave out on me, so I crashed my van. There was no damage. I was fine. My van's fine. The most damage was done was my tire rods, which Dad's working on those now. But make sure your
Uh,
cars are up to par if you're a road trip person like I am. So
oh no, most definitely. And this actually brings me to another question. Um, Budgeting. Whether it's whether it's for the convention itself or it's you needed a budget for food and gas and everything else. What's some advice you want to give when it comes to budgeting for traveling for a con?
budgeting, if I'm honest with you, I'm just getting in like actually like budgeting now that I've started going to more cons. And I'm like, okay, I'm realizing that me just doing a paycheck right the week before con is not doing it. I need to prep beforehand. So it's like I started like each month I put aside money. Like if I know a convention is like 7 months or 8 months out, I like do the math, like, oh, how much money would I actually need? When I go to like Indiana Comic Con or even Ohio, I always and this is highballing it too. I always do $1,000 or more because cons are expensive, yes, but that also includes my travel, my hotel, my food, and whatever cosplays that I plan to either be doing, making, etc. Um, but that's just the budget for me and like accounting for gas and everything too. But I always save like a certain amount each month. If I know a con's like way out in advance and I'm planning for this con way out in advance, like I always have a set amount that I put aside from my paychecks each month. That way it's not um that way I'm not rushing to get money like right as this convention's like a week down the road.
No, that's some sound advice, and I'm sure as an adult or anyone, when it comes to, wanting to go have fun, make sure you
Yeah,
have make sure you have your bills paid first and not spend that money on a con because if you spend your money on a con
right,
instead of, instead of your bills, you are a moron.
right,
I'm flat out saying that with the heart and like, you know, bills and money come first. Having fun at a con is second. Like
right,
if you're on a budget and you're not able to go to a con, don't save your money. There are always more cons to go to that this than
right.
that in the con.
Exactly. Like if I could give that advice to younger me wouldn't listen, but then realize, oh shoot, maybe I should have done that. Because I can definitely admit, like, as soon as I turned 18 and I'm like, I want to do more cons and stuff, um, I was like automatically like a lot of my paychecks, like I would pay like my water bill and my utility bill, obviously. I would put like a part of rent aside and everything, but it was like after realizing, oh shoot, maybe I should put me first before this. So, especially if you're not somebody who's doing cosplay as like a profession, because I know there's more people that are making their costumes and they're like guesting and doing or even doing commissions and stuff. It's like if you're not doing this as a profession, you need to put yourself first before doing all these cons and stuff because like if you choose to get evicted over like a cosplay convention, then I definitely agree. There's some thinking you need to do. But
No, hands down.
yeah, yeah. Budgeting wise, like I usually put like a certain amount aside. Like Like, I know how much it's going to cost me for this con. I put aside this amount each month. But yeah.
No, no, that's some sound advice. Last but not least, lodging. What's some advice you want to give to someone who wants to get lodging for a convention, especially if they're traveling out of town or out of states? Because sometimes there are places that are
Mhm.
there's a place in your state that's like hours away. What kind or even if you wanted to travel out of state, what advice would you want to give when it comes to booking hotels or Airbnbs and everything?
So I've never booked up Airbnb, so that I can't give that advice on there. The advice I can give is like I try to think about the cosplays that I'm doing that weekend. Like I usually plan these cosplays way ahead because I know I'm making or upgrading stuff on it. Like Frankie, I always like have something I'm upgrading. Frankie is one of my most like not reveal like he's not revealing per se, but there's a lot more skin to him. So it's like okay, like I don't want to be walking a block or two away from the convention center in practically a bikini and a shirt and armor pieces on like especially armor pieces if you're an armor piece like if you wear armor or you wear bigger builds that require like maybe consider like a hotel that's like maybe right next to the convention or even better in some cases how the convention centers have the skywalks. I know like the Indiana Convention Center has a bunch of hotels connected to the convention center, as well as Columbus does. I know that's not going to be the case for every convention center, but if you can snag a hotel that's like connected to the convention center, then that personally is I'm all set. Like you should be all set. You don't have to worry about walking in the cold or something. I'm probably the worst person to ask that because like I Frankie's one of my favorite characters. I would literally walk maybe 2, 3 blocks in that cosplay just to get there. Like, and that sounds terrible, but like, I don't know. My advice for sure, if you're somebody that's more logical than I am, maybe a Skywalk hotel that's like connected to the convention center or something closer. Um, yeah, that's my advice on that. Maybe it's not the best, but it's some of my advice.
No, that's some good sound advice. Now, before we talk about cosplay related stuff, what are some conventions you were looking forward to going to this year? I know you talked about what you're going to you're finally going to your first home state convention.
Yes, so I am guesting at PeoriaCon, which by the time this comes out, I'll probably have announced it by then, but I haven't announced it yet.
Well, this will
I
be
mean,
coming up. This will be coming up. No, not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
yeah, so either by the time this comes out or maybe like as this is coming out, I'll have an announcement for me being at Peoria. But I'm going to PeoriaCon, which is in Peoria. It's about, ooh, I think it's about like 2 hours away from me where I live currently. It's a
So
2 day
driving, so
con.
so driving distance.
It's driving distance. I enjoy it. Like I said, I'm a road trip person, so that's up my alley. It's 2 days. I'm gonna be judging the cosplay competition and everything. So, I'm not going there as a attendee, but I'm going there as a guest. So I may have a bit of a different experience, but it's still my first Illinois con. So I'm very looking forward to Peoria Con because I get to add more stuff to where I'm like, okay, maybe like for guesting stuff, like what do I need to bring than what I've already brought for my first table, you know? I'm very much looking forward to this is silly. I'm guessing it's not silly. It's great. I'm guesting at not only Peoria Con, but I'm also guesting at a more local con, which is like 10, 20 minutes away from me. Same amount of time. That's in September. I'm really excited for that. And then I'm really excited for Galaxy because we're getting a whole group together and I'm super excited. There's not really
Ooh.
specific reasons, maybe besides the two cons that I'm guesting at that I'm excited about, but like Galaxy became like one of my new favorite conventions to go to. So it's like I'm gonna be doing like a couple One Piece groups. Like I love One Piece very much. So it's like I don't know. I'm just those are the main ones right off the top of my head that I'm really excited for. And then obviously the one that I'm going to this Saturday, I'm only going for the day. It's Anime Crossroads in Plainfield. It's a little bit outside Indy. Um, I'm gonna be in a One Piece panel and I'm gonna be competing in my first cosplay competition.
You're gonna be completing your. Oh man, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Well, when we get to that part, we'll definitely be talking about that.
Oh yeah.
Um, any more?
I've been
Any more?
gabbing with all of the like every time I'm going to like Michael's or Home Depot, like everybody's like, "Oh, where are you getting all this stuff for?" Because like normally people go in there for home improvement projects. I'm over here like I'm making a set of mechanical arms. Sorry, I'm making a set of mechanical arms, and they're like, "A?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like I love gabbing with like the crafts people and like all the Home Depot people because they're like, "Oh, this is so cool." But yeah, I'm super excited for Across. It is my first cosplay competition. So
Very
yeah,
nice. Let's see now. What's your dream con? It's a con you always wanted to go to, but right now it's just either it's too far away or it's just out of the budget for
there's
the
a
time
couple
being.
cons. I've always wanted to go to a California con at some point because I do have mutuals that are over there, which not any specific cons in general, just go to like a convention in California would be really, really cool. KatsuCon is definitely on my list of dream cons because like before COVID, all the stuff I watched when I started like getting into cosplay and stuff would literally be convention vlogs. So it would be people going to these cons and like doing silly goofy stuff and it's like, whoa, I want to do that. I want to do the crazy silly goofy stuff, you know? Um yeah, Katsu's on my list. Colossal Con is also on my list. Prime and Colossal Con North is in Wisconsin, and that's usually around my birthday. So that'd be a cool little fun birthday present eventually. But there's no really reason why not. It's just like I want to try and do more before I start going more farther out. I
No,
don't know if that makes sense.
that's no, that makes perfect sense.
Especially Katsu when at least when I have watched like when I used to watch vlogs and stuff, everybody would call not only KatsuCon like a party con, but that's the con that you bring your best of the best to. Like no matter how you're gonna get it there, you're gonna bring your best of the best to it.
You want to
I
introduce
land.
your want to introduce your cat?
So I have four of them, but
We
this one here is Rhea.
Hi
I like to call her
Rhea.
my little yeah,
Oh,
I like to call her my
we
little emo
always
baby.
we always love showing having as I always call them. It's we always appreciate pet cameos on this channel.
We love them. Um,
Aww.
Rhea I like to call her my emo baby because she's a very more to yourself kind of kitty. So like once in a blue moon, which it's been more often recently, so I'm kind of glad it's been more often. But she'll come out and she'll cuddle and then she'll go back in her hidey hole. So she's like my
Aww.
hermit, but
Um,
she's a good kitty.
Now onto some cosplay related questions. Um, what kind of advice would you want to give someone who wants to get into cosplay for the first time? Whether, you know, like, because I know sometimes when people look up cosplay, search up cosplay on the internet, they see these well-known cosplayers and they think, oh, that's what cosplay is?
Either
I don't know if I want to do that or not.
it's like either they see really well-known cosplayers and they're like, "Whoa, that's so cool," but like that's a lot, or they see like I know when I was getting into cosplay, I saw a lot of armor builds. Like maybe I was looking on the wrong side, not the wrong side, but I was looking on a side where it was like, "Whoa, like that is a lot. I don't have a 3D printer. I don't know how to like melt PVC pipe. Like
I don't have
not
EVA
melt it, but
foam.
mold it. Like that's scary." Yeah, I definitely agree. My like piece of advice when it comes to first getting into cosplay for the first time, like I said before when going to conventions, do not stress. Do not stress one bit. Like you see a character that you want to do, yeah, like go for it. Like even if you're a beginner, it is so fun to learn new techniques and new things. Like if you've always wanted to like even then, like if you just want to buy a cosplay off Amazon, go for it. It's like no one's no one's going to like nitpick and be like, that's a home like you bought that off Amazon. Like, no,
Yeah,
nobody's gonna get you shit.
that usually comes from people who have never cosplayed in their damn life.
Exactly. Like,
Like, go outside and touch grass, please.
exactly. No, it's don't worry, don't stress how you're going to do this character. Don't worry about what somebody else is going to think. This is your cosplay. And even if you're beginning, like it's going to be fun. Like yeah, I wouldn't stress one bit what people think. It's do it for you, don't do it for anybody else.
No,
That's my big piece of advice.
that's some good sound advice, and it doesn't, and the best thing about anime characters, you can just buy
Oh yeah.
just buy a wig that looks close enough, and just buy regular clothes. There you go. You're cosplaying a casual version of that
Right.
character.
Literally, if like an example, I can think of like people like to also do casual cosplay. So if you don't want to get the official outfit or you don't have the money for the official outfit, you could literally get a wig. You could literally do your makeup and like do like a casual fit of a character. Like it's not like it's it's a cosplay that you're doing for yourself, not for anybody else, you know?
Oh, no, I wholeheartedly agree. And I'm sure you can
Yeah,
also agree with this that if you're on a budget, thrifting, upcycling is
I
always the
love
way to go.
Goodwill. I found for PopCon, my boots for Patty, I found them at Goodwill for $10. You can find good stuff at Goodwill, or even then, any thrift store in general. Like you can find some good stuff.
And I know Patty's boots, they go up to her calves, if I'm not mistaken.
So I did two variations of Patty. The one more recently, those I did get off Amazon. But the one that I did for PopCon, which was back in 24, which was right basically last year, they went up to my ankles. But I really liked them, and I could easily. That's another piece of advice I want to give about like when you want to get into cosplay and stuff. Like if you are not comfortable with something, you can alter the cosplay how you want to. Like with Patty, my first go around, like I know sometimes like Patty's boots are a lot higher than just at the ankle. Like I don't want to break my ankles running around con. Like only time I did that for Galaxy was because like I just wanted to try something a little bit different. Because I wear boots with my cosplays, but I didn't wear those type of boots. So I just wanted to try something different. But when it comes to comfortability and comfortability versus accuracy, I very much believe in comfortability. Like first, put you first and your comfortability before accuracy.
No, that's some sound advice, and especially
Mhm.
when you're wearing boots, whether they're flat, heeled, or whether you're
Yeah, like don't
male,
push
female,
yourself
and
to
you want
wear
to
those
wear.
demonias just to make yourself accurate height or something. I like this sounds super silly. Like I for a little bit did think I want to try and be accurate height to some characters. So I tried making boots. That did not work out. And that is how I learned my lesson.
And it's good to break those shoes in because you don't want to wear them literally to the con because next thing you know you're like, why are my feet hurting? You get back to
And then
your
you got multiple
hotel.
blisters all
Yeah, you
over your
got you
feet.
got blisters, and I think some advice would be to wear socks or ace bandages
Please wear
around your feet,
socks.
or
Please wear
something,
socks.
or something around your feet so you can
Right.
minimize those blisters. 'Cause again, your day will be ruined. And also, if your feet are just hurting in general, bring a pair of flats, bring slippers, bring Uggs, bring
Right.
something so your feet are comfortable. And also, I'm sure you can agree that
Oh yeah.
if the cosplay is just becoming too much, always bring a change of clothes or a spare cosplay.
Exactly. I'm not a good example of that because I like to wear my at least like my cosplays up until I get to the hotel room. So I'm not a good example. However, I very much believe in like if anybody else, like comfortability over accuracy. A good example also was that I did a Nico Robin cosplay specifically from the time skip. So I thought it would be really cute to do these monster red pumps. Monsters. I'm talking, I was at least I'm 5'6". I somehow I rave it rare. We I had gotten to 6 foot in those heels. I thought it would be so cool to be that one Robin cosplayer running around in big ass monster pumps. I got to the convention center and I'm like, I'm glad I brought my flip-flops. Because I wore my flip-flops around the convention center and then I had wore those heels for a photo shoot.
Oh, you can, okay, if I show the picture?
Oh yeah, going ahead.
So,
You can kind of see them, yeah. Like, but those are
so
monsters.
those are
They were
4 inch, those are,
monsters.
so you're 5'6", so those are at least 4 inch heels.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like the only reason I thought I could wear this around the convention center is because all my life when I've worn like really nice things or I've worn dresses, I've always wanted big pumps. I've always been a pump type of girl. But and I
I,
thought, oh, like since I've done this like all my life, I could probably do it around a convention center. No. The convention
I,
center is definitely different than a formal event.
I can see why you opted to wear flip-flops later on that
Oh
day.
yeah. Oh yeah. They are my favorite pumps, don't get me wrong. They are my favorites, and I will literally buy any color of those for cosplays. However, I will only wear those for photo shoots, not for walking around in a convention center.
It's just, sometimes it's just not worth it, you know?
It's not worth it. Like, maybe for the photo shoot, it's worth it. Like, you get to the photo shoot and you put them on, do some pictures, and then take them off and wear your flip-flops.
And I
Like,
can see what you're talking about for the patty boots, if I can show.
yeah, no, go on ahead.
I mean,
Oh yeah. So that is from Galaxy. So you can see those ones are a little bit bigger. I wanted to try something different. Um, I'm I could say I would do it again, but I would have better socks. My issue was I didn't have good boot socks, which is another
and
piece of
you
advice.
were and you jumped up while wearing those too. I mean, oh,
That is an ongoing since Indie PopCon. That's an ongoing thing for me and my friend where we would recreate like you know the meme posts like William Dafoe and oh what the one Spider-Man guy where they're doing like the absolute craziest poses.
oh yeah, it's where like the three Spider-Man character. Oh yeah, where he's doing the, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's our kind of ongoing thing when we do cosplays as of recent, because it is a more recent thing that we started doing, but it's really fun. Like there's a picture from PopCon where it's if you go to the picture where it's kid and the two sisters coming out of the gun, there is a picture of us doing that. But um there's a picture of all three of us doing it and it's really funny.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one. I think there's another picture in there. If it doesn't swipe, then that's my bad. I
oh
know there's a
yeah.
picture somewhere floating. Yep. That's
I
our
mean,
go-to thing.
if anyone's seen the anime, Patty is definitely the more wild,
Hmm.
eccentric, outgoing one, while Liz is the more serious one. It's they're twins. They're two
Oh
different
yeah.
personalities. You know, just like how
Oh
Death the
yeah.
Kid has like in a way, you know,
He
everything has
contradicts
to be.
himself.
I mean, everything needs to be symmetrical, but there is nothing symmetrical about Liz and
Yeah.
Patty.
Nope. But yeah, like Patty is definitely one of my like she is in my top list of favorite characters of characters that I have cosplayed. Definitely. Definitely. But yeah, back to the like circling back to the main point, like comfortability over accuracy. Because
And
like I was yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's basically it. Like I would rather wear something that I'm not going to suffer in the whole con. Maybe suffering is a really harsher word, but something that I'd rather be comfortable in throughout the con than have to keep going to the hotel room because my feet are hurting or in some people's cases like man I Ubered 10 minutes from our hotel room to get to the convention center like I don't want to go back to the hotel room, you know, so having a pair of flip-flops or Crocs are definitely a pretty good thing to carry on you depending on what shoe you're wearing for sure.
Oh yeah, no, and especially when it comes to boots, it's good to have like thick socks, whether it's, you know, ankle
Oh yeah.
socks, you know, thigh highs, something to where your whole leg or feet are protected. Because again,
Yeah.
even wearing boots, like, you know, for example, I'll be this year I'm gonna be cosplaying as Gold Roger from One Piece, so
Oh hell yeah,
I'm gonna be
you're
wearing
gonna look great.
I'm gonna be wearing pirate boots, so I'm gonna have to break those suckers in.
Not only that, like I don't know if you've already gotten them, but look at the like the pirate boots that you get before you like just buy them because me and my boyfriend were going to do Puss in Boots and Kitty Soft Paws for Indiana Comic Con 23. However, he wasn't able to do his cosplay because we didn't get some of the stuff in time and also his boots. He couldn't wear those boots around the house because there was no support and they were really flimsy. So it's like he was like
No, yeah.
I we were both like you shouldn't be wearing those because you're going to be uncomfortable that whole con if you can't even wear them around the house, you know. So it's like one of those things like good
Oh
boots.
yeah, no, I no, because the boots are also going to be used for my casual Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher as well.
Ooh,
So I
that's
made
going to
sure
be
to
really
find
cool.
I made sure to find the right boots that will work for both outfits. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm definitely gonna buy them a month
Oh yeah.
like a month in advance so I can test them around the house and make sure they're better than the last pair of boots I got for another cosplay that was just kind of yeah. Anyway, let's see.
Anywho,
Let's see here. Have you done any have you done any like body paint or any type of makeup or anything for your cosplays?
when I first started going to conventions and stuff, Sans was my first thing of face paint. Like he wasn't my first. Like I at that point I had been practicing doing skull makeup for a good few years. So, like I knew kind of like what face paints to get, but that was also I've only done face paint like a good handful of times. So I'm not the most experienced. I'm just more of like the face type makeup, face paint, etc. Um, I love doing makeup. I love doing makeup with my cosplays. Like maybe that's obviously everybody or some people do makeup with their cosplays, but especially when you're doing specific makeup where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this different to do a difference in characters and stuff. Like when I do makeup for Frankie, and it's a crucial detail that I believe works for me, but nobody really notices. I don't wear lashes with Frankie. I just do mascara. I just do like I do my nose and I go. I mean I still do a full face where it's like everything stays on, but I don't do a lot of the most that's done to my face is I like make my nose silver. So it's like I like to differentiate like eyeshadows and different like looks with different characters. That way I'm not put painting the same face. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I know there's some people that like the same face, which that's not a bad thing either. Like do what you want to do with your cosplay.
No, that's sorry, I was looking at No, I completely agree and I'm sure um even though you've like only done like you said the skull and a few makeup and everything it does
Yeah.
even like regular brand beauty makeup it doesn't hurt to do
Oh
a
yeah.
test to, or a test to make sure you don't break out.
Right. Definitely. Like make sure you're like if you're going to be wearing makeup and stuff, make sure you're not breaking out because again, comfortability over accuracy or like, oh, I'm gonna look so good with this foundation, but I'm breaking out. Like, don't put yourself at risk just for the bit or just for the
And make sure
cosplay.
your makeup's waterproof too.
Exactly, especially at cons. Especially at cons. Like I always, even in my everyday makeup, I always like look for waterproof things because um it's like it'll get you through the day. It'll get you where you need to be. And by the time you get home, it's still on there and you're not worried about touching up throughout the day. You're still going to end up touching up some things like lipstick, but that's because you use your mouth all the time. Like you're talking and you're talking with people and everything. So it's one of those things. But there's some things you can't help. But when it comes to makeup, like definitely waterproof for sure.
No, wholeheartedly agree. Let's see,
Mm-hmm.
talked about that.
I am going to
So
say a thing. Oh, sorry.
no, go
Uh,
ahead. No, go ahead. I was thinking of the
a
next
thing about
question.
waterproof makeup, if you're gonna like do waterproof makeup and stuff, which this is probably anybody knows this, but no regular face cleanser is going to take that off. If you're somebody who like when I first was doing like using like waterproof makeup and stuff, I would freak out because my mascara is still on and I have eyeshadow and I have normal people work the next day. Always use an oil-based cleanser when it comes to waterproof products. because it'll get right off. Even if you do it like a couple times, like if you're washing your face in the sink or if you wash your face in the shower, go through a couple times, it'll take it right off. Like, never go wrong with an oil-based remover. It's always good.
That's that's honestly some good
Mhm.
sound advice, and it doesn't hurt to after. I'm sure you can agree with this. 'Cause I don't think I ever brought this. Moisturize your face afterwards.
Yes,
Yes, you got all the makeup off and everything, but moisturize your face because there
face
could
like
be some rem
like
there are still remnants because makeup remover doesn't fully get the shit off.
yeah, no. Like doing a good facial routine where you have, even if it's just your basic, like you do like the oil-based like makeup remover, the oil-based like cleanser, go in with like an act like another face cleanser. Obviously, not everybody's gonna have money for a bunch of stuff, obviously. So like literally my thing is I'll have like a bottle of like oil based makeup remover. Then I have my face wash, a toner, and a moisturizer. Like, I know there's some people that have more intricate face routines and everything, but like when it comes to just taking the makeup off and getting ready for bed, or even face stuff in general, having those basic things is it's not gonna hurt, and it'll be worth it in the long run. Also, when it comes to makeup and stuff.
No, I completely agree. Let's see. I think. Oh yeah. Last but not least, before we talk about your cosplays, you are going to be entering your first cosplay contest this year, if I'm not mistaken, from what you said about going
Yeah,
about conventions.
mm-hmm. I'm gonna be in my first cosplay competition. I don't know how far you are in One Piece, but or if you've completed so far up to Egghead.
I'm still on like if I'm going to be completely honest, watch me I'm still like in like the first arc of One Piece.
Oh, I'm not judging. Like I One Piece is definitely a commitment. When getting into One Piece, I'm not one of those people where it's like, just do it. One Piece is definitely one of those animes where you have to commit to and
No.
just stick with it because there's a lot. And I I personally like anime where there's a lot going on because I maybe it's just me. I get so upset when I'm watching a good anime and it's only one season.
No, sometimes an anime is worth having one season. I
Maybe
mean,
it's worth one season, but when it comes to shows, like I found out the other day, that Soul Eater, because I only watched Soul Eater on Netflix when I
oh,
was first getting into stuff.
I finished watching Soul Eater. I finished watching when they added it. I think yeah, I finished
Did
watching it when it
you
was
know that Soul Eater has two seasons? I
yeah.
may have looked at something wrong. I never knew that. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, like I
Well,
wish
when
Soul
the
Eater
int
wasn't one season. And then my friend was like, there's two seasons. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I'm just finding that out too. So I'm going through and I'm rewatching Soul Eater right now. Just so I can make sure I catch up with actually everything or
oh yeah,
try to.
oh yeah, that's right. There's also Soul Eater not.
I'm a little bit scared. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like maybe it's not something to be scared about. But
I don't know, honestly. Oh, it's only one season. I think they're talking about Soul Eater not.
probably. I don't I'm just making sure I hit all my bases because like Soul Eater is
Yes.
one of the shows that I started with and it's one of my favorites. Top notch. Um but yeah, like or like when I was on Crunchyroll, I probably saw like where some of the shows they have like different seasons but it's different languages for some reason. But maybe it's just me.
Oh,
But
it's a Soul Eater is technically a prequel to Soul Eater.
gotcha. Gotcha. I gotta go back.
I
I gotta
don't
go back
know.
and rewatch that.
They're making sequels and prequels, and there's animes they make one season of on Netflix, and you know that they leave it on a cliffhanger, and it's like, oh, we're not gonna make we're
We're
not gonna
not
make
getting
it
a season two.
you're not getting a season two. It's like, well, now I mean I know where the anime leads, but like I want to see a season two of Sinbad,
Right.
the prequel spin-off series to Magi. I was like, oh no, we're
Right.
never gonna.
Oh shoot, I lost my
Mm.
point. My point was yes, I'm doing my first cosplay competition at Anime Crossroads this
Ooh.
this Saturday actually. So like when I was like texting like, "Oh shoot, like I'm still crunching over here." Like I'm crunching.
Oh,
Like I have a
you're con crunching.
I'm crunching big time. But I am entering as that's where I meant to go by what when I
Oh
was
yeah.
asking what arc you were in. There is an arc there's the dress Rosa arc in One Piece. Obviously you haven't gotten there yet. It's way farther down the line. I am cosplaying
I don't care if you
as
spoil it.
I'm not dropping spoilers. I am gonna say I'm dressing up as Frankie in the dress Rosa outfit with the cannon and all. So like
Frankie.
not his disguise where it's the pigtails, but he has the cannon eventually in that arc.
You said it's a dress Rosa?
Dress Rosa, yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. Which is um
So when his
uh
hair is literally shaped like a cannon, yes, I am styling that wig.
and then there's the one you were talking about
Yes. So I'm not doing disguise
where
Frankie.
he looks like a rabbi.
We love Frankie. Frankie's got some pretty cool looks in the show, but I'm doing his one with the cannon, where his hair is literally a cannon.
Oh, there is a figure of it, a pre-order figure.
Oh yeah, that's me. Not actually, but that's what I'm gonna be
It's
dressing up as.
it's gonna be cool. So you're gonna do the pompadour looking hair?
The Pomodoro and my big main things because I'm only in the beginner category and I like really overshot this. Like not in a bad way, but like there are some things that I was like, okay, I want to focus more on the wig and the arms. The other times I've done Frankie, they were my friend's arms that he let me use and eventually keep, which was really nice of him. I wanted to make a set of arms that were actually articulated so I could move my fingers.
Hmm.
And so I can move my fingers in the arm, not to like full on use my arms, but like to actually make my own stuff where it's not just stuck in a fist. And that's what I'm currently working on and finishing up tomorrow before I go to the con on Saturday.
That'll be honestly cool to see.
I'm really excited because at least like at cons that I've been to or anything, I've never seen Frankie on a cosplay competition stage. I and I don't know why. There's probably reasons why, but it's Frankie's one of my favorites, and I would love to do more of his looks and see more of him. Like even if it's not even on the cosplay competition stage, I see a couple Frankies here and now. Like there was like one other Frankie at Galaxy when I went, but I don't know. It's just Frankie's a really, really cool character and one of my favorites. And like to have the opportunity to go on stage with him and make the wig and make the arms and everything is really like kind of like an honor,
That'll be
if
cool
that
to
makes any
see.
sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Let's see here. Well, I'll talk about those after. Now I'm going to talk about cosplays that you've done, and everything, and then, talk about cosplays you're in the midst of working in, cosplays that you plan on doing later this year, and that one overall dream cosplay. So to begin, what's that one cosplay you've haven't done in so long that you would like to bring back?
I always make the joke with my friends that I'm gonna do a Dweeb era tour. So where I bring back cosplays that I've planned or have done like back in 2022, back in 2021. I would love to bring Hisoka back. As much as that is a very like he is a very controversial like not controversial in like a bad way, but Hisoka in the
Oh,
show.
Hisako from Hunter x Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen clips of him, and yeah.
He's not I when I first got into cosplay and I'm like, oh, I love Hunter x Hunter. Oh my gosh, that guy, like this is before I fully watched the show, or at least up to the Chimera Ant arc, because I have not gone past the Chimera Ant arc because I'm too scared because my friend told me it was the most sad of the arcs, and I'm a crybaby, so I did not want to watch the rest of it. But when I
So
was watching like, yep, yep,
so you've okay.
it was more of like like it was a mix of like a closet cosplay and something I bought off Amazon. Because I bought the outfit on Amazon, and then when I went to try everything on, the pants were see-through. And I'm like, I'm not walking around con like this. So I wore basketball shorts that weren't as see-through with my dirty Vans. And at the time, my hair was short and so in red, so I didn't have to wear a wig at the time. But